Hello, welcome, Croeso. This is episode 9 of The Adventures of Hiraeth, and we are going to do something a little bit different today. As you see up here, we have a quest that takes us to the Fall Festival, which went live yesterday. And so, basically, the Fall Festival is spreading good-hearted tricks and tasty treats across Middle-earth. Join in by starting at the Shire, where Mr. Bilbo Baggins has left one last surprise for his neighbours. We shall accept that. And indeed. Alright. It's in full swing, apparently. So we will accept that. In the meantime, before we actually do that, let's just finish off handing in this quest.
Hail, friend, and well met.
So we're just returning the cask. Thank you, Hiraeth, and thank my friend Brethilwen for knowing my intentions. I understand that Brethilwen was beset by goblins, and that you fought many off to obtain this spirit. Know that it was for a worthy cause.
Swil-eyed Melon, will you stay a moment?
Now we have a level 9 quest, a gift for a friend. Before you leave, Hiraeth, I have one more boon to ask of you. I promised a bottle of last year's vintage to a friend at Dwelond to the north, and my labours kept me too busy to fulfil that pledge. I hope this has not inconvenienced her. Could you deliver this bottle to Delengil for me? The refuge lies on the road that follows the river north beyond Lamiel's vineyard. If you reach the dwarf port of Cheladul, you have travelled too far north. Perhaps you should make use of the horse from here to Dwelond. Again, you see how nicely the game sort of pushes you in the right direction, really. Okay, so we'll go down here, and we will go to the Harvest Festival. Whoop! We'll just jump down here. We went the wrong way, but that's okay. We may as well turn in these quests. We're going to be pushed towards... we may as well finish all our Dwelond quests, because we are being pushed... Calandrim quests, because we are being pushed towards Dwelond.
Grey is the shadow upon my heart.
So this is the prologue and the wrath of the elves. If you remember, we killed Pamprouche and a bunch of other blue crags. What is this? Pamprouche said that my son still lives? If you remember the text that popped up above when as he was dying. A Vorthal was not slain. My heart wants to believe, but believe the words of a goblin? Still, I cannot fathom why he would tell you this if it were not so. But if a Vorthal is alive, then his capture does not bode well. I fear he will not live long while imprisoned by those outcast dwarves. They are no better than the goblins. And so we have a quick choice to make between something that gives us 5 fate or 5 might, and I think we will favour fate.
Might you spare a moment of your time?
So, the master of the refuge. You have done so much for me already, Hiraeth, but there is still much that must be done if my son is to be restored. We have not had dealings with the dwarves for a very long time, and those are not pleasant memories. You were at Athelion, I believe. You remember Skorgrim's final attack on the old refuge, yes? Dwarves are scheming and self-serving, not to be trusted. We must gather our strength to lay siege to the dwarves of Ered Luin and rescue a Vorthal from their clutches, but only Dorangir Whiteburn, the master of Dwelond, has the authority to muster such a force. Bring him the news of my son, that he is alive, but a prisoner. We must strike at the dwarves before it is too late. Speak with Toron at the stable before you go. He will hasten you upon. Again, we are being very heavily urged to go along to take the stable master. So that is what we would normally do. And I believe that is the end of the quests. Ah, no, we have one quest here. Conveniently enough, by the stable master. So this is this Toron.
Will you hear my sorrows?
So leaving Middle Earth. Long have my brother and I dwelt upon these shores, and much have we seen in that time. Now the time has come for us to leave this place and sail into the west. My brother, however, does not see clearly and wishes to remain here. We have always dwelt together, and I could not consider a day in my life without his company and counsel. He is the cord which binds me to this Middle Earth. While he is of a mind to remain, I am forced to wait for him. If you would, go to Duilond and see if you can convince Bregar to join me here at Kilondin. It is time we begin our journey. The refuge is north along the road. So we now have a number of quests. We'll run up very quickly up here, but I don't believe there's anything up here that we need to do. I don't believe there are any more quest givers. Ah, there is a quest here. It's a crafting quest, which we may as well take.
Mind my words, traveller.
Collect minor woodworking lore. So, it is my privilege to aid with the construction of the white ships that bring the Eldar into the west, but I have wondered of late if there was any improvement, even of small value, that might be made to the wood we use for that purpose. If you know a scholar of some skill, I would appreciate any minor woodworking lore you might be able to acquire. Thank you for your assistance. I have one or two small relics I can give you for your trouble. And again, we'll do the actual crafting quests offline, but we'll just pick that one up right now. So, as I say, we would normally go down here and take the stable to the horse to Duilond. But we have a couple of different things to do. We have our hobbit presents for the day. And in fact, we have both the regular. Oh, good. Money is always useful. 200. And then we also have the weekly VIP available. Again, we have some rejuvenation potions, which, yes, okay. So let's open up our inventory. We have gone ahead and equipped new gloves and other stuff. So here's the map that will take us to the party tree. Of course, this is kind of lore-breaking, but it's very convenient. Now, the only problem I have here, and I hope it will not mess up the video, is that it's a notorious lag in the Shire, especially around the hill when there are lots and lots of people. So, my apologies in advance if we drop frame rates too much, and if we do continually, then I will have to do these quests offline. It'll also be a chance to see, I've been reading about the complaints since the patch 23 that they have added unnecessary frills and ugliness to the Shire, according to a lot of people. I haven't yet seen that with any of my characters, but maybe we will today. And the devs have actually acknowledged that they made a bit of a mistake on this, that they are going to tidy up some of the issues. Okay, so we start off with a new deed because we are in the Shire, at one of the iconic parts of the Shire here, which is of course the party tree, which is below the hill where Bag End is. Bag End is just up there, which we may have to visit in a moment. This is a character that has not obviously done the introductory quest for entering the haunted burrow and all that. As you can see, we are definitely dropping frame rates pretty dramatically here. People are just spawning in. It may well be that we cannot do this online. However, let us go and talk to Opal Goodbody.
Don't you turn your back on me!
A cellar door appears. You'll never believe this, Hiraeth. I decided a new oven was needed to begin preparations for the next festival. The labourers went to dig a pit in the side of the hill, and lo! We all heard a shovel scrape against some wood, and before I knew what happened, a door was dug out. The door is locked now, but I'll wager it is a forgotten cellar of Bag End. Bag End is just above it, you see. Do you think that's where Mad Baggins kept his treasures? I suppose we can only guess, for Lobelia owns Bag End now. If you think she'll be letting anyone else dig around for old Bilbo's treasure, then you go right ahead and ask her. Be my guest. I won't be risking it, but it is terribly exciting all the same. So we have to go and speak to the wonderful Lobelia Sackville-Baggins. We'll come out here. We'll go around here, and we'll go off to the side. I'm assuming I have not seen these banners before, so I'm assuming this is part of what people have been complaining about, and it sort of makes sense by the festival grounds here, but I don't know if it's elsewhere, then I don't know if that's a good thing. So we're coming up to the little gate. Here we have the entrance to Bag End. And there's the top of the hill up there. So we come around here. Looks like a beautiful day in the Shire. And what have they done to Bag End? They have added quite a large number of things, I believe, since I was here last. I don't remember all these massive flowers and the wheelbarrows and these extra bits of shrubbery and it's definitely seems much more cluttered than it used to be, and I'm not sure if it's a particularly good thing. Alright, well, let's go and talk to Lobelia. And we will just... She's part of the Hobbit epic quest line, but cellar door.
Well, the gall of some folk.
Are you here about that door as well? You listen here. That mad fool of a Baggins never said anything about a secret cellar, and neither did that awful nephew of his, Frodo. I could not be more angry. I've scoured the whole burrow and not found a thing that could be used as a key to a hidden larder. They meant all along to leave Bag End to me with none of its proper fixings. If you want to see so much as a doorknob inside that cellar, you must find me that key. That gardener down on Bagshot Row surely knows something, but he won't speak a word to me. You look like a big, ominous sort. You ought to wrangle the truth out of him. And as if we couldn't guess from that, it's actually Sam Gamgee's dad that we need to go and speak to. So we could jump over the fence, but it would be very undignified for an elf to do that. And unfortunately, we have lost the use of our pony, or actually our horse. But it does give us an excuse to see a little bit more of the Shire. So I think if we come here, I think this is the entrance to Bagshot Row. Yes, it is. And again, a wonderfully iconic area. And if you remember, Sam and his gaffer lived in number 3, and this is number 3, and here is the old gentleman himself. And again, has a number of quests for us, in fact.
Is there something I can do for you?
Oh, that voiceover does not in any way or shape resemble what I imagine Gaffer Gamgee would be like. I'll wager Lobelia sent you to inquire after that new door going to the Baggins' lovely burrow. If you ask me, the whole affair smells of trouble. I tell you, young ones, and I'll tell you too, best to mind your own matters, and no harm will come of aught.
I've no chuck with strangers.
So Bilbo's letter. Still here, are you? Well, I suppose if you are of an inquisitive nature like Mr. Bilbo himself, I'll let you in on something he said to me afore he disappeared forever. Now, old Bilbo, he said, with a sparkle in his eye, that his adventures would continue on even after he was long gone. That was Mr. Baggins for you. Well, I'll not get in your way. Help yourself to look over his lost letter for us, which my son Sam read to me. It has some particular instructions regarding that Sackville-Baggins. And if you remember, yes, there's a deal made, in fact, of the fact that Bilbo was learning Sam his letters, as the gaffer says in the book. And I guess we have to go look for the letter, because it's not already in our inventory. So let's see what else he has here. So Bilbo's
Just
letter.
a moment.
You want to bring this letter to be Lobelia, eh? Be my guest. It won't do a whit of good sitting here with me, you know. So bring Bilbo's letter. So we see if we now do have the letter. Let's have a quick look. To the owner of the to the owner of the prying eyes lying currently upon this page, I write this and leave it in the care of Hamfast Gamgee, my respected groundskeeper, on account of any unexpected findings on my estate after I am gone. I am Bilbo Baggins, and I was the proprietor of Bag End before I moved away. Bag End was then left to my heir and nephew, Frodo Baggins. If he is not there any longer, then I expect a Sackville-Baggins has got hold of my dear old burrow. I left a nice present for Lobelia when I went away. The silver spoons she admired so greatly that she acquired a great deal of that collection before it was properly bestowed to her. There's so many things in here that are redolent of the books, which is wonderful. If you remember some of the part of the enmity between Bilbo and Lobelia stems from that fact that Bilbo always suspected that she had made off with a good number of the silver spoons. Anyway, but in all likelihood that was not enough, so I expect she is in possession of Bag End now. Surely the whole burrow has been scoured for the fabled prizes of my adventures with the dwarves many years ago, but I pride myself on not being so obvious as to leave such treasures out and about, where nosy relatives can easily get their hands on them. Of course, please do not presume that I deem such noble inquirers undeserving of rewards, for that is not the case at all. I just prefer to make the rewards sweeter yet by giving the visitors at Bag End an adventure of their very own. I assume that you are inquiring after the burrow's cellar. The door to the cellar was installed shortly before I left with the help of the dwarves, and comes out of the side of the hill, but I do not think it will appear until the hillside erodes in a few years, or perhaps when there is some digging, when Bag End's property must be expanded to suit Lobelia's many needs. If the door is to be unlocked, good Lord, this goes on forever. If the door is to be unlocked, you must ask Lobelia if you may borrow one of her spoons. An adventurer's treasure may be found within, but so shall an adventure. I hope you like my little project. Happy adventuring to all. Yours, Bilbo Baggins. That is a lovely, lovely... I know it takes some time to read that, but it's a lovely touch, and it is so... It feels just like something Bilbo would do. Problematic lore-wise, in that we are told that Bilbo had spent all his gold and jewels, Jools, in the course of the many, many years he lived back in Bag End before he finally left. But I think we can overlook that. Whoops. As it does lead to quite some interesting experiences in the burrow. So here we are back with Lobelia, and
Can't a body be left alone?
so... What is that envelope you have there? Give it here at once. I am sure Bilbo meant for the successor of Bag End to have it, and not that fool old gardener. Indeed, no. I don't believe he even knows how to read. I can't quite imagine that Lobelia will take the notion of spoons kindly.
How rude!
I'm reading the letter. Leave me be. How is a hobbit to concentrate with annoying folk badgering them all day? If it does not say anything about that cellar, I swear I shall be positively furious. So we have to keep prodding Lobelia for information, which again is wonderful. We know that she's not the nicest.
It's been a foul day, it has.
Don't pester me. I'm reading. That Bilbo sure knows how to prattle on about nothing. As you say, we did read a very long letter. We'll keep going.
Well, the gall of some folk.
Shoo! If you don't leave me alone, I shall report you to the authorities. This is highly amusing, I
How
think.
rude!
Finally. What's this about a spoon? He left me the silver spoons. He says they are the key to the cellar.
Don't walk off. I need to speak with you.
So the haunted burrow. Oh my, what wonderful news! Apparently my spoons fit as keys into the keyhole in that burrow door down there. That old madman planned for me to have his treasure after all. Come, I'll go open the door, and you will help me carry out the treasure I find. Let us meet down at the party tree. Just give me a moment, and I'll be down. So we have to meet Lobelia down by the tree. And if you look, there's a lovely view from here. We'll go into first person. Down at the beautiful party tree, the grounds, and looking across the water. Bywater is over there, and Hobbiton is just down here. And the Shire is one of the most wonderfully rendered areas in all of the game. So we will come down this way. And again, I don't remember those huge blossoms and everything. And again, we're going to run into lag as we come down to the festival grounds. So we have got a number of quests that we'll think now. It might take a little while for Lobelia to spawn. Or do we actually... Oh, we actually have to go inside. I'm sorry, I misunderstood there. So here is inside the haunted burrow. And a little note about dynamic layers, because this is one of those instances. You can see it's very, very effective. So we have to find Lobelia. Where are you, Lobelia? Let's go back this way. Ah. She looks a little scared.
It's been a foul day, it has.
Oh, I am livid. I've been tricked. This place is naught but a monster-filled, spook-ridden, crawly-infested hole in the ground. Bilbo tricked me into thinking there was anything worth my while in this abominable cellar. How I loathe him with all my heart. There is naught here but filth and corruption. I want nothing to do with this evil burrow. Do as you will with it, and stay away from me.
So now we can go out and talk. We now essentially, with that, we are given free access to the burrow and all of its quests. So Opal was just outside, if I remember. Yes, there she is. And so, oh, I'm sorry. This was Begonia.
Stay and have some tea.
Let's find Opal. Where are you, Opal? Ah, here is Opal.
Well, the gall of some folk.
We will talk to Begonia in a moment. So,
Did you hear, Hiraeth? Lobelia is too scared to poke around. That means we can go treasure hunting. It's wonderful, just wonderful. Oh, I'm sure many of these nosy onlookers will have a wonderful time exploring and making off with what treasure they find. It is terribly exciting, isn't it?
and here we have our first fall tokens. Hooray! So now the burrow, and as you see, there's a lot more quest givers now available to us. But we will talk to Begonia because, as you saw very briefly there,
Hello there. Might I speak with you a moment?
kind of fun. So,
I do not know how I have worked up the nerve to address one of you fine and fair-spoken elves, but you see, my friends and I do so love a good and frightening costume on the fall festival. And so we were sitting about trying to imagine how to get some others to join us in the fun. Then it came to me, the cleverest idea. We must put treats out upon the doormats of our houses. Then And this is the important part. Only those in costume may be allowed to have some. Yes, said my friends, but how will we persuade anyone to go about all the bother? But don't you see, it's plain as day, said I. We must help them along. And so we set to work, the three of us, and baked more treats than you could count, and fashioned some doormats just perfect for the occasion. You may have one if you like, but you must promise to lay it out and then go in for some treats and trickery yourself. That's what I'm calling it.
So this is actually designed for people who already have houses, but um, we can accept it in any case. And here we will talk.
Hello there.
You will do it? Oh, how grand! If you haven't any costume, I have some old things you can put on as well. Here, go on, go and tell your friends. What fun!
So we do get an extra 5 tokens. We get a doormat in a box, basic costume, grab bag, and a lovely title. And we will actually make that title active. So I think we're going to just maybe call it an episode here. There are lots and lots of quests to do in this area, as you can see. A lot of them involve running around the burrow trying to find frightened or missing hobbits, or trying to work out why, what's going on with some of the haunted creatures that are in the burrow. And we can take a look at some of those in the next episode. Up until then, this has been Gareth, and it's my friend Hiraeth here. And until the next time, we wish you a very happy and safe and well time in and out of Middle-earth. Bye-bye. There is the title. We shall put it on before we leave. There we go. That's lovely. Okay, we'll see you soon.